Gnosis, basic Axiom 8. The eighth conclusion is that the growth of the soul has as its goal a state of integrated wholeness rather than a condition of moral perfection. This conclusion of Jungian thought links Jung and his teachings most intimately with the much condemned antinomianism opposition to the law of the Gnostics. Indeed, in ancient Gnosticism we find very clear statements of a spiritual libertarianism, not as frequently alleged of libertarianism, which regards the individual human pneuma as superior to and possessing a sovereignty over the primitive law of thou shalt and thou shalt not, promulgated by the Demiurge. To imagine that one's pure divine spirit could even be affected, and even less lost because of transgressing against the petty laws of a cosmic tyrant, appeared laughable to the Gnostics. Threats of demiurgic retribution cannot frighten the Gnostic, for the ruler of the lower world has no dominion over the pneuma, which originates within and is destined to return to a realm superior to his own. Moreover, this freedom of the spirit of the Gnostic is much more than a mere indifferent state of permissiveness. Rather, it is evident that the liberating effect of this freedom from external laws and commandments is in itself a value to be cultivated for important reasons. Through indifference to the demiurgic norms, the Gnostic thwarts the designs of the petty tyrannical powers of the cosmos and thus makes a positive contribution to the work of salvation. Freedom makes for more and greater freedom, while subservience to the blind law of a blind demiurge creates further slavery. One cannot free oneself by bowing to the yoke, but only by breaking it. Like a true Gnostic, Carl Jung recognized that, even at best, goodness is no substitute for wholeness. He frequently said that in the long run, what matters is not goodness or obedience to moral laws, but only and simply the fullness of being. Gnostic psychology has always recognized that the artificial division or splitting apart of the fullness of being into two halves of good and evil was a plot of the tyrannical forces bent upon keeping humanity in chains. By dividing life into two separate halves and ordering the human being to cleave to one of these halves to the exclusion of the other, the demiurgic power has caused humanity to do violence against the shadow side of the soul and has caused human beings to condemn themselves to a state of incompleteness and guilt. In order to restore the pleroma or experience the fullness of being, we must know evil, which is not the same as doing evil. Evildoers in the true sense are almost inevitably persons acting under one or several compulsions of an unconscious nature. It is thus their very lack of self-knowledge, and with it their lack of self-knowledge of their own evil, that forces them to do antisocial and evil acts. Unconscious content not brought into the gnosis of consciousness is forced to live itself out by way of compulsive acts performed by the ego. As a latter-day Gnostic classic has expressed it, each human being is in truth his or own absolute lawgiver, as well as his or own reward and punishment. Such a statement can be recognized as valid only by persons who have emancipated themselves from the one-sided pursuit of moral perfection according to external laws and commandments. No longer seeking umbrage under the written law, such persons learn how to make conscious moral choices of their own design, winning individual victories and suffering their own personal defeats according to the just constellations of psychic life.